key role. We can have the element of bipartisan at the industrial. It is very, very important that the worker who have to be represented at any forum, an engagement between the employer, other parties, especially government, the union must play a key role in everything that leads to the economic and social right of the worker. In fact, in Ghana, I'm happy that Anka mentioned the constitution where the union derives its formation and powers. Apart from that, we also talk about international legislations where the unions actually have their powers. And I think the ILO is very important and key here when it comes to unionism. But the ILO itself, has been an agent that existed from the League of Nations until today, and is the only body that has actually lived the years as to today as we speak. And it set out conventions and regulations to govern this union practice and the relationship that should exist at the workplace. One important convention is the Convention 87, which deals with union formation. And then the 98, which deals with collective bargaining. In fact, these things, because we're governed by these colonial masters, and these laws were not in Ghana, things were done arbitrarily. And orders, instructions were emanating from the colonial master and the alien employers. So the worker find it very difficult to articulate his or her right at the workplace.
Who were these particular workers? What kind of area were they working? Were they miners?
Yes, some miners. We can have fishermen
as well. Carpenters.
We have carpenters. So it's like craft-based. We have these workers in isolation. Yeah. And in fact, establishing even the relationship between the employer was also a very important issue, and which could not be well defined. So it is not easy for the worker to articulate his or her right. What we witnessed was mass strikes, mass upheavals, agitations.
So those mass strikes and upheavals, were they part of protests that they were using?
They're part of the protest to have their voices heard in the relationship.
Very well. Yeah. Because we are also told that during those era, workers did not take part in decision making.
No.
Moreover, there were, employment was also based on racism and some kind of
racism. In fact, decision making, you need to establish the platform before you can talk about decision making.
As an employee of a particular alien organization.
Exactly. And while the platform is not there, you find it very difficult to reach out to the employer.
Mr. Ankra, let me come to you. This is very, very interesting because it means that around that time, labor in itself finds it very difficult to be able to make certain moves as to asking for certain conditions of salaries, or let's say simply increments in wages. How was it?
See, I've said that when you talk about unionism, it's been struggles from day one. Nothing, no right of the worker has been achieved without a struggle, a big fact. You understand? So, for example, I was talking about what was happening in Britain, the colonial master, the fact that we have the aristocrats and the barons and the landlords, and the owners of business. At the same time, you have some of them as the parliamentarians in Britain.
That's interesting.
So when these groups were formed, it became a threat to them. So they enacted a law to even ban the unions from the beginning.
Oh, I see. The struggle hasn't been that easy.
No. They banned the unions. What the unions did, what they did was to go underground. Officially, they are not there.
They are not there.
But they meet secretly.
And then we also told that most of them were even junior staffs.
Yes. The beginning of unionism, you see that they were mostly junior staff. Even if you look at these craft-based organizations, like Mr. Equality said, they are mostly juniors, not part of the management of an establishment. But the business owners don't even see them. The business owner decided working hours, 17.
It means they had long working hours.
Long working hours. Not these 8 hours a week we're talking about.
In today's time.
I say 8 hours a week. 8 hours a day, which is 40 hours a week. You're talking about people working for 17 hours or more a day.
You could describe that as forced labor then.
Slavery. When you say forced labor, you are reducing the impact. You're talking about slavery.
How about workplace conditions?
They were not there.
They were not there. Conditions of service were not there. You can't negotiate your salary. In fact, when we talk about the workplaces in terms of safety and security, forget. Go and die. I mean,
that's what it means.
Yes. A slave, you are being whipped virtually to do the job for the profit of the establishment, not even the business owners.
So Mr. Anka, you were really establishing a point about their organization. So how did they decide to meet in groups to be able to share ideas, how to, confront
I said that if you look at the British example, the unions were banned by the owners by legislation that they shouldn't form groups. They went underground. And what happened is that if they got a report that there's a bad employer, they go and attack the establishment. Burn things, destroy things, and all those things.
They were all part of the struggle movement. Strategies that they adapted to get what they want.
Until they got to a point, they realized that banning them is causing more trouble than allowing them to exist. Before they changed that law that was banning them.
And we started having some kind of ordinances coming up. Mr. Kolete, if I may ask.
Yeah. So in Ghana. Okay.
Go ahead.
So you see, in Ghana, it's through some of these struggles that the colonial masters allowed the formation of union. And even the formation of union, they were restricted from collectively bargaining.
Oh, did they have collective bargaining?
No, they didn't have that. Because even the law which established the union didn't have provision for
going forward. We are going to describe what collective bargaining means to our audience. But please continue.
Yeah. So, and when the Prince of Wales came to Ghana and the fishermen refused to ferry him,
that would be
the purpose for the colonial master.
1925.
Yes, 1925 thereabouts.
Yes, that was the purpose for the colonial master to now wave the cross that, okay, you can form a union, even with restriction. 5 members.
5 members.
From 5 members before you can join a union. So you see, there were a lot of restrictions. Collective agreement was not part of the ordinance. So you cannot even collectively engage.
And then the fishermen you were talking about, they were asking for an increase in their
Wages.
wages from 9 pence to 1 shilling 60.
And that was a big deal
Yes.
for the employer. All right, so moving on. So somewhere in the 1920s, workers went through a lot of struggle to be able to fight for what they want, talking about their conditions of service. Let's look at how now the colonial master decided to give them some kind of liberty or freedom to form association. Did they draw their mandate from the ILO? Were there any support from international labor organizations?
From the international organization, you know, the ILO has various regulations to regulate that relationship. But it's up to the employer and up to the regime to provide for this legislation to enable the parties to operate within the context of the law or the ambit of the law. But the arbitrariness was still perpetuated, and these provisions were not even made. And you know, illiteracy was also a major problem. It was not to open up to these leaders. So we're looking for leaders who can agitate, and then make a lot of noise. But critically, you have to look at the law and then apply the law to the relationship that you find yourself. But those things were not there. So there are a whole lot of restrictions, and they could not allow the legal framework to operate within the context of unionism in the Gold Coast.
Very well. So Mr. Akrad, you want to add up?
You see, you're talking about the ILO. ILO is part of the United Nations, like you said earlier. When did the United Nations came into being? You're talking about after the World War or so?
Yeah, well,
Yes,
First World War.
1945 or a little
Even
bit earlier.
the First World War, 1914 to 1918, it was after the First World War that the ILO was formed as one of the agencies of the League of
United
Nations.
Nations.
Yeah.
So it means that around that time, basically they were doing their own thing at the grounds. They
No,
didn't
but you
really
see,
have
the
people-
League of Nations didn't survive.
They didn't survive.
Because if it had survived, we couldn't have had the Second World War.
Very well.
They couldn't survive. So all these bodies could not even operate within the framework at which they were established.
So let's look at some of the unions that were existing around that time. From my document, I have the Ghana School Teachers Union. That was from somewhere around 1925. I also have a Motor Drivers Association, somewhere around 1928. We have the Carpenters Association, 1929. Then we have the Motor and Transport Union of Ashanti, somewhere around the 1920s as well. We've not really seen any formal sector union yet around that time. When we come back, we'll look at, we are going for a commercial break. When we come back, we'll look at some of the labor laws that started coming in from the pre-colonial time to independence time. We'll be right back.
Oh la la! I fear Kwabo and View. Oh, Guafa to a fresh as an Abbey View. In Pepsi Hotel Beer Festival, as an Abbey View.
you are sanctioned, and then you are made to find a fine. You are made to pay a fine.
A fine.
So we have to actually amend the law to remove some of these things. Other than that, the decree came out with fines. If you go contrary to the provision, you are fined.
Very well.
Or you are imprisoned.
I see.
Yeah, there was imprisonment and there was fine or for both.
Very well. So the worker around that time, Splight was now on the establishment of the Labour Department. Did the worker had confidence in the Labour Department at the time?
So they visited the Labour Department for their issues. In fact, statistics is also collected, and every worker has a profile.
Very well.
Yes.
Because the core function of the Labour Department at that time was to solve petty disputes within the workplace and also register job workers for jobs.
And
data as well for the
data.
Labour. Is that the function? Is that function still there today in today's
yes.
Labour?
Yes.
Very well. We'll come to that in the later episodes. Okay. So, Mr. Ankra, I want to ask now. We are drawing closer to independence.
Yeah.
How was the terrain of the Labour front just before independence? So let's say somewhere around the 1940s, 40s, getting into the early 50s and all. How was the Labour front? How was it? Was it shaky? Now politics was entering in and all. What was it like? Who were the major players, in fact, when it comes to the Labour front, fighting for good Labour good conditions of service for our people?
When you're talking about the Labour front, I think the strongest, the unions that were really in secondary, let me say, a lot, because you have the mines there, you have the railways, you have timber, and other things there. And the railways, they have what they call the bottom three, where they assemble with their issues.
Very well.
And when you're talking about independence, it's also a struggle.
Very well.
Like the struggle of the workers. And people see the colonial masters as they are also behaving like slaves. And then, like I said, most of these unions were not in the public sector.
They were in the informal sector.
They were in the informal sector.
Yes, from what you've said so far, I was wondering where were the bourgeoisie workers, the bourgeoisie workers or Ghanaian workers, who were following the whites, who were there as clerks, who were there
in the
as
civil service, for example.
Yes.
You have the senior civil servants, which are mainly whites.
Okay.
They are in management and association.
Very well.
And if I can remember, for example, in 1918, the civil service senior staff, who are mostly Europeans, the whites, they were there as an association. Then also there was the Junior Civil Servant Association, which took a cue from the senior one to form a Junior Civil Servants Association.
Wow.
But yes, still, around those times, it's the management, which is the Europeans, who go and sit down
and talk about conditions of service.
Well, something like that.
The juniors did not have a say. They were mainly Ghanaians, but yet they were in the lower ranks.
Yes, even after that, in the civil service, for example, it was commissions of inquiry and things that determine their conditions of service.
Right.
It's not a negotiation between the workers' organization and the employer or government. It was commissions and committees of inquiry
that would determine some of these conditions. So just before independence, the struggle wasn't that easy. It was still boiling. I'm sure it was boiling around that time.
And it was easy for those who were fighting for independence to draw in the workers
to use labor
into their organization,
to
make it the struggle strong.
Strong.
That is what I would say. Is it to the extent that there was a TUC, Gold Coast Trade Union Congress.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that one is.
Then there was
TUC.
A Ghana Trade Union Congress, even before independence.
Yes, before independence, yes.
Okay. But they came together.
Oh, they joined.
To become the Gold Coast Trade Union Congress.
Okay. So
before independence.
Before independence.
And they had a whole lot. Is it about 90-something affiliates?
Affiliates.
Wow, within our country borders, within the walls of our
country. Yes, within under TUC.
Under TUC.
Under
so
the global.
I mean, the workers were from all spheres of the country.
Unions. No.
The unions.
You know, the TUC is a federation.
It's a federation, yeah.
And it's made up of individual unions,
yeah,
who have aligned themselves to have a big voice. Yeah. You know, so the interesting thing is that there was the Gogo TUC,
and there was
the Ghana TUC were four, but they came together even before independence to fight for workers' rights.
So around that time, there was the UGCC being the political party that was leading independence.
UGCC started.
This one was 1945.
Yes.
This one was 1950.
1952.
The one was 45.
Very well.
And then the Ghana Trade Union Congress was 52. Then they came together.
Before independence.
Before independence.
Yes. But like I said, struggle for independence started before 1957, eventually getting
independence. So now we have independence. The struggle is still not over for trade unions. The struggle is still over for worker unions around that time. Now we are talking about somewhere around 1960-65. What did the new government, independent government, do to facilitate good employer-employee relationship? Mr. Kolite, I'll put that to you.
Okay, thank you. I think that was the regime of the CPP.
Yeah.
The struggle, the TUC and then the CPP came together strongly. In fact, the UGCC, when they were imprisoned, and then they came out and the CPP was formed, the TUC aligned itself with the CPP. So the struggle was massive until the attainment of independence. So, in fact, the attainment of independence witnessed a lot of industrial changes in the laws. So we witnessed the formation of the Congress, which has been cited here.
Okay.
The TUC.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we also saw unions coming together, like Mr. Ankara stated, they prune to a certain level that would be manageable and accommodating, so that their voices also will be very strong.
Mr. Ankara, you want to add up?
No, it's okay. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So we witnessed that. So and the CPP government and the TUC were
were in matrimony.
Yeah.
They were in matrimony. Yeah. I can imagine.
Political matrimony.
Yeah. Okay. So they were in support of whatever the CPP was doing.
Yeah.
In actual fact, when independence was gained, and Kuma became the, what do we call it? Leader of government business.
Yeah, well.
He made sure that the TUC
was always listened to.
Made laws to have the TUC.
To have the TUC.
In fact, they are building here.
Okay.
The trade union building was donated by CPP.
That's amazing.
Yes, to them, because of how they were involved in the struggle for independence, especially on the side of the CPP.
Of the CPP.
You understand?
Yeah, right.
And then they changed some of the laws to make things fine, like the industrial relation in 1965? Yeah. Yes.
In fact, we under the CPP regime, we started witnessing the collective bargaining.
Exactly.
Started witnessing collective bargaining. So that's a period that collective bargaining given a push, and then the check-off system was also introduced and effectively implemented. You know the check-off system?
Explain a little further.
The check-off system is where the union member pays his or her dues to the union.
The accountant general, for example, who pay direct to the union
through a central point. So the union will not go and be demanding dues from each individual member.
Okay.
But where they work, the whole dues are collected and then paid to the central point for the union to use.
Okay. And it's basically union dues is used to manage that
so
association.
that's the check-off system. And it's obligatory. Immediately that is done, you, the employer, you can't say that you will not pay.
Yeah.
It beholds you to effect payment to the union.
By all means.
The union will not come to you for that. But you have to do it.
That's amazing. Mr. Ankara, so we've mentioned TUC. I know they were made
And
up of...
And then the issue of conciliation and arbitration also featured
very much
in that era.
In the post-independence era.
I will see how they fell after.
I want to mention some few unions that I, as a young man, I know today.
Okay.
Those days it would be Civil Servants Association.
Yes,
I'm sure the
yes, it
teachers.
was part of the TUC.
It was part of. Oh, it was part of
it
the.
Was part
how
of
about the
TUC.
teacher unions? The teachers at that time.
The teacher union, the NAT.
NAT was part of TUC.
Yeah.
Then.
Not these three.
Okay.
No. Okay. Ghana National Association of Teachers.
Teachers, they were.
There was one teacher union
at that time.
Yeah, because like he said earlier, there was an amalgamation of those small unions to come together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the struggle for independence can only not today be related to TUC, the affiliates of TUC today, but yet around that time, almost all unions.
All the unions were on that TUC.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't know, but
no, the struggle was the time we were having fragmented unions.
Unions, yes.
You see.
I want us to really digest this area because now, as it stands in our current situation, we have certain unions that are affiliated to TUC. We have some that are not on other federations. You get it because there are a number of.
If you want to know the issue, in the Industrial Relations Act, you cannot register as without the TUC giving you
at that time.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there was only one labor center.
Very well. That's a fair explanation. We'll break here, and when we come back, we'll be riding up on.
Oh la la! Afia kwa watching view. Ogwafe to afesha asana be view. Bimpepsi Hotel Beer Festival na asana be view. Yemo biara fish yapa. Ogwafe to afesha. Epebebia jiwenwa. Abe you know that Bimpepsi Hotel no wada call. Get your kojo non kakajwa. Tell a friend to tell another friend. Oyende basa na ye trace to Friday, 5th September. Old school jam with the Evergreen Closak Band. And you bring 6 p.m. Saturday, 6th September. Reggae night with Ras Wizzy, Ras Alfred alongside the Closak Band. And a Sunday, 7th September. Ibrahim do papa in the school's football galano. A crack in the Viajabonum. We'll chase him. Ozama disco. A disco but more than what chain. Come on, we'll lay pass. Zama or Gasco's Bonroco. Bonai Pite. Quabo just one more one. Potre. Zama Ghana National. What pass Bonum. One about Muache. Agre Memorial. Work at your bono. We'll chase up the 10. Oh, you go. Oh, Pimpepsia Hotel Beer Festival. Here, football gala. I'm going be a young. The same day now, and I'm from a Fenero Codo, I'm from an Brebi, and a Ponon Gado when you bring us here. My from a bed Zagur, or your children's fanfare, or your first painting, Bouncer Castle, your betcha ice cream, popcorn, trampoline, and a Pioca Camon. Parent, come with your case, it is free. Venue, Pimpepsia Hotel. Oh, Guafa to Afesia. There's only one place to go. Pimpepsia Hotel. Come one, come all.
My friends will be drinking all the beer.
Come back, viewers, to our discussion. We've been looking at the history and evolution of labor unions, or otherwise trade unions in Ghana. And the discussion has been very, very educative and informative. I still have in the studio Mr. J.N.O. Ankra and Mr. Eugene Kolite. They have been doing very well in the discussion and education. Now, Mr. Ankra, let me start from you once again. We've looked at pre-colonial era. We've come to look at struggle before independence and struggle after independence. I want us to make a little bit of comparison. How would you describe the situation in simple terms during the colonial era as against what we saw after the independence?
See, I said earlier that the colonial masters were not only looking at the struggle of the unions, because they knew that eventually it would turn into a political one. They tried to stop it by giving little freedoms. You know, like you want to give cheese to the rat. You know that.
So in piecemeal. In
piecemeal.
Okay.
You know, they tried, but eventually they couldn't stop the issue of independence, which is a political one. You know, because it was a struggle which the workers believed. You know, so yes, after independence, there was mass improvement in the rights of the workers of Ghana. Like we said, because the Trade Union Congress, which was first in Sekondi, and they brought it down to Accra.
Yeah.
After independence, you know, so there was this big change, this big house
Was
for the
there,
TUC, Ghana TUC.
so at least now workers
And also an improvement in the laws.
in the laws.
Changes in the law
I think that
to
came
bring
there.
about collective bargaining, even the right to organize,
And all.
you know, and all those. Because at certain points is that you can't even go to an employer and say you want to hold
Meeting
a meeting of
or try to
workers.
register or protest against certain, you know,
but then with independence, those things
started, seeing
changed
light of day.
and it was positive. It doesn't mean
There was
workers have gotten to
their freedom level.
the max.
The max, okay.
The quest for freedom is not
It's
ended.
not ended.
Of the quest for their rights,
That's not ended.
you know, to organize, to collective bargaining.
And all.
There are still
Struggling.
gaps to be filled.
Gaps.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to
the climax yet.
the ultimate.
Ultimate.
Yes.
Mr. Quality, if I may ask, so, after independence, there were a number of military regimes and other, uncertainties here and there. How was the trade unionism, how were they handling these situations, these volatile situations during military regimes? Did they have mouth? Were they able to at least cry out a little bit for better conditions?
Before I come to that, I would like to touch on what Mr. Hankra
said earlier on.
Yeah.
You're very well, you can.
Yeah. When we compare the two, you realize that the colonial era The institutions were not there. Institutions to further the cause of unionism. You don't have them. The laws were not there, arbitrariness. But after that, we saw a major shake-up. We have institutions like the Labor Department coming in. We also saw the National Labor Commission, National Advisory Committee on Labor.
Correct.
That's an advisory body.
Very well.
Set aside to advise government on issues related to employment relationship in this country. So we have the various ILO. So we witnessed major ratifications of the ILO conventions around this era, and which become binding on government.
On employer.
On the employer.
Okay.
So when the government ratifies it,
it becomes binding on every employer.
Every employer.
Yeah.
And you must attest to it every year to the ILO.
That you
ratify it and you are implementing the provisions of the convention. And then the industrial relations was also placed on a very high pedestal.
Very well.
So these are major things. So when it comes to institutional arrangements, we saw major institutions emerging to address this. And then when it comes to the legal interpretation, we also saw laws which are regulating the relationship as compared to the colonial era, where the laws are not there. So I would say that these are major developments when we are to compare the two, the institutional arrangements and then the legal framework. Yes.
So after independence, it was more better.
Yes.
And I believe it's getting better.
Yeah. There were major setbacks because, you see, the regime restructuring the IMF. We went to IMF. There were changes, restructuring of the employment scene. The restructuring brought about layoffs. People were laid off. No employment was not.
Okay.
Yes, and the unions also suffered because we are talking about numbers.
Your checkup is not going.
Your checkup will not get the money and all those things.
Okay.
And even some of them were in prison. The union leaders, some of the union leaders were in prison.
I see.
Yes.
During military regimes?
Yes. And in fact, the TUC.
Yeah.
For example, we witnessed some of these things at the TUC where the legislation was changed. Uja, for instance, spoke about changing this and reapplying for union status.
I see.
Yes. So
those could be interesting times, but they were also hard times. Wouldn't you describe them as hard times as well?
Yeah, they were hard times.
If certain union leaders were being arrested.
When the regime is not seeing that democratic posture or dispensation, it becomes very difficult to roll out all those nice things in the governing conventions that you want to apply.
Okay.
So that's what I can say for now.
All right.
It becomes very difficult because they will not see eye to eye with you.
Neither.
Provisions are there nicely for you to implement. You are not able to do that.
I think during the Buza regime, the TUC was banned.
Okay.
Because CPP used the TUC for independence. So they banned it. It was when the coup came on. Is it 1972?
Yeah.
Coup.
Champion School.
Champion School.
Quickly revoked.
That they revoked that ban. It was banned by law. So the military revoked that one.
Constitution.
And the TUC
came back.
So it was also, now you come into politics again. The effect of politics.
The effect of politics, I was
and
about
then
saying
you
that.
even realize that at a point in time, the TUC formed a political
party.
Social
Democratic Front.
That would be somewhere in the 80s, early 80s or late 70s.
After
That was.
I've forgotten the year.
I think around the Social Democratic Front in the 70s.
In the 70s.
In the 70s.
Well, so can we also draw the conclusion that during the military regimes, labor unions or trade unions did not really get it that easy? Times were tough then.
It's both good and bad.
It's both good and bad. That's an interesting answer.
Yes, yes. Some of the military regimes didn't like the unions, and others to like it. For example, we were not supposed to jump to 1972, but I think civil servants went on strike.
Okay.
And they were demanding a few things after the one of the commissions, and then the leaders were chased and in prison, but they were detained.
I see.
And they were saying that people should go to the Accra Sports Stadium to be employed to fill
those vacancies.
positions in the civil service.
That was another harsh one on labor.
Yes. And it was when Rollinski that he said the people should come back. So that is why I say
it was good and bad.
Good and bad. Depends on
the
environment.
The environment at the time.
Yes. And the regime in question.
Yes.
The regime in question.
If the regime doesn't understand why freedom of association should be adored, you have challenges.
Very well.
Yes. But where the understanding is there, and then the bridge, the gap between the political leadership and the unions, I think we can go further.
We can go further. Very well, very well. So it is quite interesting to know that, Mr. Anka, you were mentioning that a certain group of otherwise trade union went into politics. They formed a political party. How long did that last?
Oh, it didn't last.
last.
Because they couldn't make any
impact.
I think so when they lost the election, Dr. Bannerman was the presidential candidate also. I remember.
Okay.
They couldn't.
So when they lost,
I think they got only about 2 or 3 seats in parliament.
Yeah. I think 3 or 4 seats.
And that was it. It wasn't successful.
It wasn't successful. Anyway.
Interestingly, maybe that is the history why in our present law, they say no union
should be political.
Should form a political party.
Not even form a political party. You shouldn't double in politics. For you to even form a party.
For that, we know very much. I think, viewers, we are coming to the end of our program. But before we take leave of our viewers, we'd want you to give them your last summary of what you think the situation has been like and moving on. So, Mr. Anka, I'll start with you.
No, putting everything together, I think there has been a vast improvement in labor relations in the country, even with changes of regimes and new laws coming. It's better than pre-colonial
times.
And even immediate after independence. There have been a vast improvement. Because if you look at this Act 651,
the current Labor Act,
there were so many small laws which they put together. So now you don't go searching for different things by different laws.
Very well.
You take one law and everything
is embedded in the current. I think
it was championed by the Labor Advisory Committee. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But that law is under review as we speak.
Labor Advisory Committee.
No. The Labor
Advisory Committee.
I don't know what they are changing anyway.
So, Mr. Quality, your last, your final.
Thank you so much. What I want to say is that we started from somewhere. It's a process.
Yeah.
We are moving on. Hitherto, we didn't have institutions, we didn't have effective laws and regulations. So our forefathers actually suffered under that regime. By the study, they have come to realize that there are things which actually have to be carried on board to the new regime that we find ourselves. So, like Mr. Ankara mentioned, the Labour Act 2003 saw major shakeup in things that came about as a result of the practice of industrial relations. We saw the National Advisory Committee on Labour coming out as the tripartite committee.
Yeah.
Yes, which is very, very effective in our current dispensation.
Yeah.
We also saw changes in unionism. How unionism used to be practiced.
Very well.
Now we have union pluralism
Very well.
also having its tool. So because of that, we don't even have one labor center. As we speak, I think we have about 3 labor centers.
Very well.
And these are major changes
that has happened.
the law has actually witnessed. I think it's very good.
Very good.
It's very good. The issue of democracy is at work. The issue of democracy is at work. And again, there's one major development, which is the non-aligned unions. Okay. The union doesn't have to belong to or affiliate to a center. No. It can also be a free flyer.
Oh, I see.
And then enterprise-based unions are also springing up because of the freedom.
I think this will be a good topic for in the consequent productions that we are going to do.
So thank you so much.
Very well. Very well. Viewers, I think we've come to the end of today's program, Walatu, Walasa. We have been delving into the history and evolution of labor unions in Ghana. There is more to uncover, and in our next programs or episodes, we will be delving more into the current situation and the way forward. Stay with us every time on Walatu, Walasa, your Labor Digest program. Gentlemen, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Walatu, Walasa, Nadia Wonso, Ayua, yeah, Mirisu, mi wona, Mirisu, mi kra, Mambo, Nadia Wonso, Ayua, yeah, Mirisu, mi wona, Mirisu, mi kra, Walatu, Walasa, Nadia Wonso, ni Papa Gwe.
Clog TV, Beyond the Policy.
It's here again. The Accra Academy Old Boys Association presents Homecoming 2025 under the theme Gathering for a Purpose. The new role of alumni in the era of free senior high school education. Saturday, 23rd August 2025, 8 a.m. sharp till you drop. Venue, Ofuria J Ceremonial Square. Side attraction, tennis competition, inter-year group Scrabble competition, chess, slam dunk and 3-a-side competition. Don't forget our roll call and Jama session. Bleobi, Wambashia, Akraka, Bleo. Be there, experience it.